Okay, good luck with the slow descent into madness.
If you can keep up and you don't mind dying, come along.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
You know what? There's something just extremely uncomfortable about a man your size sniffing a flower.
We're gonna need a new plan.
I'll give you anything you ask for. As long as it's not something I don't want to give.
Get off my bridge.
It's the Al Travis Show. We love having this next guest on, Senator Jeff Howe. Senator, how are you today?
Oh, terrific. I tell you what, though, but life is a little interesting at the Howe household right now with our dog is just going to turn 12, and she's I don't think she's going to make 12. So it's
that is so tough.
She's pretty lethargic, loves to lay out. The weather's great for her right now because she walks out and lays on the deck and sits in the sun and the warmth, and I think that's healing for her. And still likes to play a little bit of Frisbee, but yeah, it's a tough deal, and took her to the vet. Not good news. They want to do exploratory surgery on her, and if it doesn't look good, just put her to sleep. I said, yeah, I don't think I want to put her through all that. I mean,
you're 12. It's near the end. I mean, I shouldn't. All right, let's share some stories. Just to maybe help out a little bit. I'm in 6th grade, Toledo, Ohio. My mother has had a dog, Corky, since she went through divorce and everything. And this dog is a 15, 16-year-old dog, little terrier thing. And I come home from school one day, and Mom is crying, Corky has died. She can't handle it. My mom's upset. Can you take care of the dog, Al? So I go into the living room. She's lying on this pillow, her old gnarly pillow, and I threw a little cover over her, and I picked up this dead dog and walk out to the backyard. I guess I'll put him out in the backyard till Dad gets home. That's a good idea. I get through the door. I set the dog on the ground, and it got the hell up. It scared the bejesus out of me. I swear I've never been more scared in my whole life. My family started calling it episodes where she just stopped living. I to this day, that whole stiff, I'm sorry, I had to make you laugh. Oh, I've never been more scared. That's my first step.
Holy smokes.
So she does this 4 or 5 more times. I take him to the vet and had the dog taken care of in a humane way, but I couldn't go near the dog again. I knew I carried it out the house. And so anyway, the other one I had, and I told my wife this last dog we had, Ella, after we get done with Duke, who we have now, I don't want another dog. She passed it at a house. She was 14 years old. And that driving your dog next to you in a box to the vet thing, can't handle it. And vets are weird now. Senator, know this if you do this. At least this vet did it down here, and they do it all over. Would you like a paw print?
Oh, yeah.
What the heck are you talking? I had no clue. What are you talking about, a paw print? Take my dog. I'm trying not to cry in front of you. You know, I'm saying this dog was my life for 40 years. I don't want to cry. What do you mean? Do you want a necklace? What? People, stop selling me crap. I said no. And what was nice is a thank you note came for using them, and they did put a paw print on it. I don't know where in the world it ended up, but what are we doing?
Yeah, the last dog I had that made it this long, there are a couple in between there that decided they wanted to go play on the highway, and that didn't turn out so well for them. But that poor dog, I could tell just by looking at her eyes that the color was gone. Yeah. And I had the vet was on the way to school, so I had my kids take the dog to the vet because I had to go to work. The veterinarian calls me up and said, we can do surgery, but probably not. I said, well, what's the odds? What are the odds of the surgery? I said, I'm not opposed to that. And they said, well, we usually don't have good outcomes. And I said, well, then put the dog down. Well, you're going to have to come in and sign stuff. And I said, I can't leave work to come in and sign stuff. I mean, just ain't going to work. Oh, so then they had to put somebody else on the phone. Had to go through this again. This is another dog that was my hunting partner for a dozen years. That's tough stuff. I actually broke down trying to tell him, I want the dog put down. It was a tough deal.
Well, last one we had to
get emotional over an animal, but you do.
No, you do. Last dog we actually had to put down because he went a little nuts. He'd go to a corner and he couldn't get out. He just stared for hours. Took him to the vet. The vet says he's just having some Alzheimer's kind of. He can't remember why he's there, and so anyway, he got to the point to put him down. They asked again, would you like to be in the room? And I said, for good God, why? Do you want to see me bawling here as you do this? Here's the dog. Take the chain. Go. I can't handle it. No, you get tight to animals, man. That's not cool.
You do.
I mean,
you do.
Yeah.
So
you do. It depends how you're raised, though. And I'm going to use this real quick. I had a friend of mine I lived in Forest Lake. He was like Lino Lakes. And he lived out on a dirt road. And their family had 1 million dogs, one at a time. But these stupid dogs would go on the road. I mean, they'd have them for 6 months, and then he'd get hit by a car. They'd, have another one for a year and a half. This guy, and God love this guy. I love this guy a ton. He could give a crap about animals. And you know why? He never learned to get tight with one because everyone died in 6-8 months. It depends how you were raised. We had Corky for 14 years, and we raised her from the dead a half a dozen times. We care for animals. He couldn't care less. He married a gal. They got a dog. I don't even think he knew its name. Didn't figure he should because he might die. It's just strange how you're raised. That's all I'm saying. And you're a dog guy. You can tell, especially hunters.
Yeah, it's hard. And so, and I had to thank my wife. She's because I'm down in St. Paul. She's taken it to the vet, and she's attached to it, but she's not. She said she's always, that's the last dog, and I think that's the last dog we've had numerous times because I don't ask permission. I just bring one home. And
now, do you do the training though? Now, if you got a bird dog, you're doing you train it. You train it yourself, or you go get them trained and then you have them after.
No, I train it myself.
See, so that's even worse because a dog learns you're it. You guys bond. That's tough. You train a hunting dog. Dang. Yeah. All right. I feel sorry for today. Let's go. I don't know how to transition from that to school. Let's go to break.
This is tough here too. That's it. I tell you what, it's not easy here right now either.
Let's go to break. We'll talk about what you guys got going on right after this. It's Senator Jeff Howe on the Al Travis Show. Well, we talk all kinds of stuff on this program. More after this.
Dust from gravel roads and driveways does more than make your car dirty inside and out. It gets down into your lungs, and it's bad for your health. Now there's an environmentally friendly solution for your dust problems. It's called DustLock. DustLock can control all your summer dust problems with just one application. Protect your vehicle and your lungs. Learn more at dustlock.com.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jay's can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is a guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
I've got him, Senator Jeff Howe, on the program. Senator, talk me off the cliff here. I don't see how you guys get anywhere. I was watching one of the committee hearings yesterday. O'Neill, I think is her name. Maybe she just got married, but I think it's Marion O'Neill. She was talking about the idea that she gets all these texts. I might be mixing it by people because I watched a lot of it. But basically getting all these conversations saying, why in the world are we giving $600 million worth of free medical care to illegal aliens in Minnesota when we have a $6 billion budget deficit showing? If you had money, I guess you could spend it any way you want. But basically she's saying, we don't have the money and we're giving it to people who don't belong in Minnesota, let alone the country. And then another nice young representative comes out and says, if you're here, you deserve it. Maybe we can believe that if we had the money. We don't have the money, sir. How can those two opposites ever get together now and figure out a budget? I don't think it can happen.
Well, and I think that's the issue because, you're going to cut funding to non-public schools. The homeschool kids are going to get cut and the parochial schools. And if stuff like transportation, which actually that money ends up in the public school deal because they provide the transportation. I got superintendents calling me and say, hey, we need that money. That funding is important to even the public schools. And imagine if you cut all those programs and people can't afford to send their kids to the parochial schools and the homeschool, and they send them to the public schools. Well, now that's another burden that the public schools can't handle it. So, but yet we can afford to pay for the health insurance for
illegal image.
People we shouldn't be here. And so I think that's going to be a huge sticking point. I think, and I think education, the Democrat House members, that thing is on stall because what I heard is the teachers union came in and said, if you vote, any of you guys vote for that bill, we're going to primary you.
Yeah.
So
see, that's my point. I don't know how this gets done. Because even if you look back, we're talking about cutting, folks, from a budget that's $71 billion, the most ever in the history of forever in this state. 4 years ago, it was 50-some billion. And yet we're worrying because, here's my point. So when you had the extra money, you threw it at some things you wanted. I get it, but now we don't. So what should be the first thing that comes off the top? Those extra things you did 2 years ago. But I believe, and tell me I'm wrong, I believe the Democrats will fall in line and hold that line. Heck, they didn't go to work on the House side for 23 days holding the line. They will do it. And I don't know that the Republicans have what it takes to hold theirs and say no. No new taxes. I heard they're talking now fees. Don't plenty me.
I have not seen a proposal come. I sit on the finance committee now.
Yep.
And I have not seen a bill come through yet that didn't have operating increases and fees increases. So the agencies are all getting taken care of. Government is paying themselves. They're just cutting the programs that hit people out there. That's what they're cutting. There isn't an agency here that's taking a haircut. They're just cutting programs out there that affect people. And that to me is, if we're all in a little bit of pain, agencies and government should take the same haircut as everybody else is getting.
Completely agree with you, my friend. Completely. Let me ask you about a story because I want to get it in just before we go. Big story, and the governor's very impressed, and he's touting that Minnesota had its highest graduation rate ever in 2024. 84.2% of kids graduated from high school. In every category that we list, race, color, creed, and every other way we divide people, every metric was up. Everybody's graduating. I actually had a senator on yesterday. I said, Senator, how does this work? Because the last study we showed in 11th grade, 50% of these kids can't do math or reading at grade levels. So do we have some summer school that's boosting them all up and getting them graduated? And his comment was something to the effect that, most people can't read at a sixth grade level. So is that what we're paying for? We're spending this kind of money, and 84% of the kids that graduate probably read at a sixth grade level. That's what we're paying for?
They can't read at an eighth grade level. Because I tell you what, that's kind of what we try to write statutes to and laws is to the eighth grade level. and I challenge most folks, you read this stuff, it's tough to figure out exactly where it goes, what it means. And so, and that's why there's an effort. I got an effort, and we're doing some of that, is write the stuff in plain language. And but I think, you want to improve your rate, just change the standard, right?
Well,
lower your standard.
If the standard is if they can get to 6th grade reading level, then why not just do this? You graduate if you stay with us for 12 years and bring in the money. If you bring the money with you, stick around for 12 years, you get a certificate. What does a graduation certificate mean? I would imagine if I'm hiring somebody right out of school, I presume they can read better than the 6th grade books. I presume they can do the math.
Read, write, arithmetic. That's, give me those 3 basics. I don't think we need algebra 2 and some of these other things that we're pushing because, I can now with the technology, I can just tell
got a calculator.
I can just tell it to do it. That now I can have AI write my paper for me. So I really don't need grammar, I guess. Come on. We got to teach those basic skills and then get them interested in a field and let them take off. I mean, It's frustrating to see what our educational system has come to because we're not inspiring and teaching kids how to learn. And that's the thing that we should be doing. If we just taught kids how they learn and let them go, we'd be a lot better off. I didn't learn how I learned until I got to the Navy. The Navy taught me how I learned and got me going. But the school, you go away. That's why I graduated. I think 44 out of 46 kids in my class. I mean, but now I learn all the time because I read all the time. It's one of those things that the Navy taught me how to do, and I took it from there. But that's the problem. We're not teaching how to learn. We're not teaching kids what they need to do and how to study and how to make that happen.
So why are you in the finance committee? Why aren't you on the education committee? Why in the finance committee, sir? Because we need some more common sense there. I can't believe we're touting 84% of our kids graduate at the same time we're saying, but half of them can't do what we had them do. Just make it 100 and then we can stop BSing people.
Yeah. We're just going to put them through the program. Once they hit 12th grade, we're not holding anybody back. We're not, we don't want to. Yeah, let's get them through. Yeah. Let me ask you this, because we don't talk enough about it. I know you're a fan of your Minnesota Twins. They seem to be a bit out of their funk in the last 10 days. They've had 2 4-game winning streaks. You got to like that, right? I mean, we won 2 out of 3 against Buckeyes. It's a long season, man. And they're going to come around. They're ripping the cover off the ball. They're playing good, solid ball. They're fun to watch.
Do you pay enough? Is the Central better than we thought? I'm sitting here telling you that I think you win with 50, above 500 record, you can win the Central. But if you look currently, the Detroit Tigers 23-13, Cleveland's 22 wins, Kansas 22 wins. We've been on this tear where it's 17. We're in 4th place. New York Yankees only have 21 wins. Nobody else at 22. The Mariners have 22. We have more wins in the Central than any of these other divisions. Are we better than we thought?
I think we're going to find out. It's going to be a struggle to make the playoffs. Wow. But I tell you what, I'm hoping when the Twins and the Yankees meet, I'm hoping to win a couple of those steak dinners I've been paying for back.
I hope so too, for your sake, my friend. Sorry about the dog. I'll be praying for you because it's just a tough time for a family. It resets the whole family. Do you have a plan? I know your wife gets to make that decision, and you just bring one home. I don't like getting a dog right away. Give yourself a little time, because otherwise, your rebound dog, that's not good. You don't need a rebound dog. My wife has
made it pretty clear that I'm not going to bring home another dog. We will. My son has inkled that maybe he'll get a dog, and then I can train it for him.
There you go.
We'll see how things play out here. My daughter has another short hair. She's a little gun shy because I didn't get a chance to train her at first. Yeah. She's got a nose on her. We'll see how this plays out. But she's 5 hours away. That's not helpful. So we'll see.
Hang in there, my friend. Tough times, but I appreciate you being on this program, sir. Appreciate it.
And hopefully next Thursday we can talk about the special session coming up and stuff, because I don't think we're going to get there. I don't see how. I think they built this plane, they put it in the air, and they forgot the landing gear. That's what they did. And you can't put enough of that PFAS foam on the runway to put her down safely.